Greetings, it is I, the Dalek Emperor. Welcome to another Dalek Reacts. Today we are reacting to Lucent Moon. Lucent Moon's video on US Presidents Rank Godzilla movies. Now, I haven't seen many Godzilla films, so I'm probably gonna have a bit of a terrible time trying to rank them because I haven't really seen many of the old Godzilla. In fact, I haven't seen any old Godzilla films because the Godzilla films, the original ones, are in Japan, and the ones that aren't, like one in Netflix or something like that, are just terrible. There are some that I've seen. I've seen Shin Godzilla and Godzilla -1. Those are ones I saw in Japan, but yeah, I've also seen the legendary films and the 1998 Godzilla, regrettably, but yeah, I have not seen any of the original Japanese ones. Sorry. But yeah, apparently the US presidents are ranking in this one, apparently. Yeah, apparently, yeah, the US presidents, it's like a AI thing made by 11 Labs, apparently. All credit will go to Lucent Moon. Let's observe it. Yeah, I've no idea. I've no idea what it's about. Okay, so since I haven't seen most of them, I found this video where I just split some of that video that I was going to react to into separate parts. So Lucent, it's still made by Lucent Moon, or could will go to him, so that's cool. But yeah, this one is just showing the Monsterverse movies, because again, I haven't seen these ones. I haven't seen these ones, so I should probably clarify that this is a Dalek reacts of US Presidents reacts to Godzilla movies, Monsterverse and Reiwa. I don't know what to expect, but all credit will go to Lucent Moon. Let's observe it.
Holy shit, about time you showed up.
Sorry about that. We were busy trying to get Donald out of Fulton County.
Oh, I see. So that's, I believe that is, so apparently the US presidents are doing this, which is weird. Like, oh, I see one of my competitors is here as well. Donald Trump. Interesting. Yes. I still have not forgiven you for basically claiming power. I was supposed to take over America, but apparently that failed.
Can you believe the bullshit they're charging me with? This is an attack on my First Amendment right.
Don't make me make good on my word to put your head through a fucking door.
I'd like to see you try with those scrawny arms.
Jesus Christ, will you two shut the hell up? You're like two squirrels fighting over an acorn.
Apologies, Barack.
This is a bit coincidental because there's something happened in a couple of years ago, I think, yeah, a couple of years ago. No, not a couple of years ago, a couple of days, there was this thing where one of the former presidents died, and there was this really funny, weird thing where Obama and Trump were sitting next to each other during a funeral or something. Seems weird.
I plead the
okay.
fifth.
By the way, Donald, you're nailing your Kubrick face.
George, I could make a joke, but 9/11 was this month, so I'm giving you a pass.
Oddly polite of you, Donald.
Concerning even.
Moving on now, we just going to rank all the remaining films in one video?
The fans requested it, and we shall deliver.
Monsterverse and Reiwa era, here we come.
Godzilla 2014. Honestly, this is underrated. The film is better than people give it credit for.
I don't like bringing night vision goggles to the theater just to see the film.
That's a valid criticism. Being the kickoff feature in the Monsterverse, it had the most glaring issues, but those were gradually worked out over time with more installments.
The kaiju are great when they're on screen, and Gareth Edwards did a phenomenal job making you feel the scale of these monsters.
Yeah, I liked, what's his name? Bryan Cranston, yeah. In that, Walter White, he was pretty cool in that. Didn't really gel with Aaron Taylor Johnson, was it? It was Aaron Taylor Johnson, wasn't it? Yeah, well, it was him, the soldier guy. Yeah, the soldier guy. I like how they introduced Serizawa.
On the topic of kaiju, the designs look great. The Mutos are freaky, and Godzilla's regal yet imposing design is a beloved iteration of the G-Man.
Too bad they're only on screen for like 10 minutes.
Another valid point, the monsters feel like they take a back seat for some points in the movie.
Some of the human characters deserved more screen time. Bryan Cranston's character was actually pretty interesting, and I wish they did more with him.
Yeah,
For what it's worth, the film is by all accounts a great watch. Though if you're looking for a super kaiju-packed brawl, you'll be disappointed.
Taking into account the pros and cons of the film, you guys think bottom of A tier is fair?
I think top of B tier is actually more fitting. The issues the film has are a bit too much for A tier.
I gotta agree with Georgie Boy on this one, Obama.
Don, never call me that again.
George just let it happen. He's not going to stop now.
Looks like we've settled on a B tier for 2014.
Yeah,
All right,
but
time for the Reiwa
wasn't the
era. I
best.
think we all know where Shin Godzilla is going.
Straight to F tier, right?
The fuck?
Wait, huh? What did I say?
Donald, what the hell, dude?
Get Jack
What the
Smith
heck?
on the damn phone and add defamation to Don's rap sheet.
Wait, you guys aren't
Wait,
seriously
what?
thinking of putting this film any higher than F tier, are you?
Yes, we are.
Donald, every time I think you can't go any lower, you somehow prove me wrong.
It's
Donald, we of all
alright,
people
Shin
should understand just how
Godzilla's
goated this
okay.
film is.
You guys really went to watch this film?
Shin Godzilla's okay, yes, but in my opinion, -1's better.
Film in theaters, kept track of
I
the
have to
cast
agree
bigger than
with
the U.S.
Trump here,
Congress and expect me
yeah.
to believe this film is good?
Made by the dude who gave us the treasured Neon Genesis Evangelion, so yes.
Speaking of Evangelion, we should totally do a tier list on that.
I don't see how you guys like this film. It's confusing, boring, and Godzilla feels like an afterthought.
An afterthought,
right.
this Godzilla is an allegory for the Fukushima disaster that rocked Japan in 2011. He's literally anything but an afterthought.
This movie is a definite G tier. Nothing less will do.
I move to disqualify Donald's opinion on the grounds that it's slander.
I second that.
Motion granted. Shin Godzilla is automatically G tier.
Welcome to Sleepy Joe's America, everybody.
Moving on. Quite a few people have been eagerly waiting on our opinions on the Netflix Godzilla films.
A lot of
those
wasted potential, if you ask me.
Yeah,
Planet
yeah,
of
but-
Monsters plays with interesting concepts, and the idea of Earth's
Yeah, it wasn't
ecosystem
the
evolving
best.
around Godzilla was a
Wasn't
novel
the best.
idea.
Godzilla being brought into the medium of anime is something hundreds of fans have wanted to see. And the opening minutes of the
I'd
movie
say
really
put
set a
them
high
in
bar.
The opening minutes are the best part of the whole film. After that, it just squanders all of it.
I haven't, I've seen a bit of the Netflix Godzilla films, but yeah, but they're not great, but I think it's interesting to see officially the largest version of Godzilla, so that's one highlight. That's about it, but yeah.
When I first got the announcement of the film, I was hoping for a rich world and interesting characters, and I was left disappointed.
Just like your 3 marriages.
I'm surprised you remembered how many marriages I've been in, Sleepy Joe. The new dementia pills must be working.
Planet of Monsters has interesting ideas, but it was hampered by a lot of plain characters, technological BS, and an uninteresting story. I'm thinking D tier.
Bottom of D tier works for me.
Fine with that as well.
Planet of Monsters in D tier is fine with me.
Oh, Lord City on the Edge of Battle is next.
By all accounts, this movie is better than Planet of Monsters, but wow, did it take some egregious missteps.
You can't tease Mechagodzilla in the film, then hardly include him.
Technically, he is in the film.
I do not count Mechagodzilla City as a true Mechagodzilla.
To give it credit, it did make the cast smaller smaller and everyone is given more to do.
sense.
But the techno-babble is still a glaring problem that bogs it down.
At least the characters are more bearable to listen to. And the idea of the nano metal was at least decently interesting.
City on the Edge of Battle is an infinitely better watch than Planet of Monsters, but it committed the cardinal sin of teasing a monster that never showed up. For that, I cast my vote as F tier.
I do have to agree. It's a shame that this film is better, yet it ends up in F.
No
City on the
idea.
Edge of Battle is sadly put in F tier. This is honestly the only F tier that
Netflix not only does like mid-tier Godzilla films, but they also did that terrible War for Cybertron trilogy. That mid War for Cybertron trilogy, which, let's just say, wasn't the best in my opinion. It was just a bit confusing, and the plot seemed to go all over the place.
could have been avoided.
It would have
if the
been
film had
better if
been
they
better.
had
Finally,
Peter
The
Cullen
Planet Eater,
voicing
probably my
Prime.
favorite one of the anime trilogy.
100%. This film is definitely the best out of all three.
The more Lovecraftian take on Ghidorah is probably the best move this trilogy could have taken. While a rather unorthodox take on the three-headed dragon, it
seen
pays
it,
off
but yeah,
nicely and ends on a high note.
Another positive is we actually get to see a kaiju fight this time, albeit being kind of lackluster.
Definitely the best part of the whole film is when Ghidorah destroys the spaceship. The humans realizing they are already dead before it happens really lives up to Ghidorah's reputation.
Shrinking the cast even more did help. But all three of these films
mate,
have the same issue with
they all
characters
have the
not
same
being fleshed
issue,
out
yeah,
and are
yeah.
used more as vessels for their ideas.
Yeah,
Though this movie
the
trilogy
characters
isn't the
weren't
best, you
fleshed
can't help
out,
but
no.
admire that they took a risk and tried something new for Godzilla.
uh,
With everything in mind for the Planet
I
Eater,
kind
I
of
think
left.
top of D tier is a fitting placement.
Top of D tier sounds fair to me.
Fine with me as well.
Planet Eater is
yeah.
going to top of D tier. Now
Yeah.
let's return to the Monsterverse and finish this tier list once and for all, gentlemen.
Ah, yes, Godzilla, king of the monsters.
All of us going to the theater on opening night and having a fantastic viewing experience was so nice.
God, I remember that night. It was great.
Donald, you ordered 2 Diet Cokes, 3 Bunch of Crunches, and threw up in my car.
Don't dwell on the past, Barack.
You still owe me for the new upholstery, you fucking asshat.
Quiet, ladies, we have films to rank.
King of the Monsters' altered Godzilla design is a step up from 2014.
Yeah,
The
made
new
a
dorsal
lot
plates are a
more.
nice callback to the 54 design.
I don't know what
Iconic.
shit the critics were smoking. This film was fire all the way through.
King of the Monsters did fix the lack of kaiju screen time, and their designs are absolutely incredible.
However, King of the Monsters still suffers from the dark lighting that plagued 2014.
Yeah.
And the story is still a bit imbalanced between the human and
Yeah, it
kaiju
seemed
side.
a bit
The human
all
side
over
of the
place
story
a
is
little
good,
bit.
but Emma Russell's reasons for unleashing Ghidorah and the other Titans seemed rather one-dimensional.
On the opposite side of that, Madison Russell is pretty good, and Ken Watanabe's sacrifice is beautifully done.
The final confrontation in Boston was fantastic. Really takes me back to the old days of my youth.
Reminiscing about observing the T-Rexes in the Cretaceous period, Joe?
Donald, don't start now.
Question, Donald, did you ever find the fairies to simp for?
Did you ever find the WMDs in Iraq?
George, don't pull the pin on that grenade, just move on.
Taking everything into account, I'm voting S tier. King of the Monsters was a Godzilla movie made for the fans.
S tier it is.
S tier is a fine ranking for this work of art.
King of the
S
Monsters
tier,
goes to
that's
S tier.
And at long last, people, Godzilla vs. Kong, the final film of the tier list.
I mean, what else is there to say? This film is a good old monster brawl. And shit, is it a good one?
This movie ironed out all the kinks in the Monsterverse.
Yeah,
No
definitely
super dark
fixed
lighting
it,
even at
yeah.
night, and a balanced human story with the kaiju.
I'm super
made
glad
it a lot
Adam Wingard
better.
is returning
Yeah,
to
with
direct
that.
The New Empire because his work on GVK was perfection.
Despite Kong being at a disadvantage, he put up a damn good fight against Godzilla.
Kong was basically Kratos in Godzilla X Kong.
Using his superior intelligence and agility to maintain his edge.
I can't.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I have to say, I enjoyed Godzilla X Kong and vs. Kong. Those two are pretty good movies, but I will still put my hand down and say that TF1 and Sonic 3 were kings of 2024.
Find anything wrong with the human characters either. Gia and Kong's chemistry was super wholesome. Only
Yeah.
complaint is Ren Serizawa should have gotten more to do in the story.
Yeah.
Also, who can forget watching Mecha Godzilla throw Godzilla around like Trump in court?
You stay out of my business, Sleepy.
If I did, you'd still be in jail right now.
I'm saying G tier, not because of the amazing story, but because of the weight behind the film. This was the first time in 60 plus years where the two biggest monsters ever were on screen together again. And the fact this film performed as well as it did, even in the pandemic, speaks volumes.
Brock's got my vote. G tier it is.
I agree with that. G tier is fine.
And so we end off our Godzilla film tier list with an atomic bang. Godzilla vs. Kong going to G tier. Yeah. We finally ranked all the Godzilla films, ladies and gentlemen.
Holy crap, we did it. We actually made it to the end. And with only a few trash takes in there, I consider that a win.
Oh, come on, my Shin Godzilla take is not that bad.
No, it definitely is, Donald.
And guys, leave any comments or suggestions on what we should rank next.
Yeah,
Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Godzilla's alright, yeah, but I, as I said, I still like -1. It's pretty cool. Anyway, my fellow subjects, hope you enjoyed this video today. I'll see you all on my next video then. Farewell. Thanks all for the enjoyable video today. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Dalek Empire, or you will be exterminated. There will be no resistance. I am the God of all time.